Hey everyone, and if you hear that in the background, you know it's time to talk trains. And who better to talk to than my man's Peter Moore, the guy, the myth, the legend, who catches all the greatest shots of photos of trains, sunsets, all that. And last time we spoke, some big changes were happening with him. First, he was carless after a big accident, and then he got a big van, and he also was gifted a Canon camera. So I'm curious to find out how that's going with the van life and then also with the camera. And last time I checked, he was a single man, and it is February, which is the month of love. So I'm going to ask him his suggestions on what a train fan would do or what you should do for a rail fan for Valentine's Day. So after these promos, we'll be back with a train extraordinaire, Peter Moore.
Hey, it's Jackson from Life with Jack. After this video, take a moment to scroll down to my videos, and don't you worry if you like them. More are coming soon. And subscribe, like, and ring the bell of notifications so you don't miss out on another good video.
Hey you, yeah, you over there. Do you have an idea, a podcast idea, something that would go great on this show that somebody should know about, that you or somebody that you know could tell us about? Send us an email at catchinupwithcarter@gmail.com. That's Catchin with no G in the middle. catchinupwithcarter@gmail.com. We want to know your ideas and we want to talk about them. Toodaloo. All right, guys, welcome back. I got my man Peter Moore, the train enthusiast, on the phone. Peter, welcome. What have you been going on since the last time we talked before Christmas? What's been going on, my guy?
Well, been still doing some photography, and I actually went and checked out the abandoned Chicago Great Western from Freeport to Galena.
Dang, how was that then? Like, is that like a one-day thing, or did it take a few different days to do that?
No, it just took a couple hours. So they have a bunch of old telephone poles still around. They just left them when the railroad abandoned the line. They left a lot of stuff. Like, they left a bunch of telephone poles. There's actually a couple depots still. One's in Woodbine in Illinois, and they just use it. The locals there use it for some kind of storage. And then Elizabeth has one, and it's actually a museum, a train museum of the Great Chicago Great Western. And they also have a few mileposts that are still around. There's one in Freeport, actually on Highway 26. And there's two at the Elizabeth Museum. And also, you still have the just about 10 minutes from Galena, Illinois, on Blackjack Road. There's a little park that you pull into, a little trail you can walk, and it'll take you up to the Winston Tunnel.
So you do quite a bit of walking, I bet, huh? And do you ask some of your people, like suggestions on where to go, and then kind of have an idea on how much walking? Because some of the shots that you get, you could tell it's like in the middle of nowhere. You know what I mean? You must do quite a bit of hiking.
Yeah, I did a bit of hiking, but that I kind of the tunnel. I actually was there. This is my second time at the tunnel. I went with my friend Jeff in 2017. We went up there. It was like, it was a lot more hard, in my opinion, that time to go up there than this time. They kind of knocked a lot of trees down and bushes down since the last time I was out there, so it was a little easier walk. But last time we had to actually make our own path because it was so bad out there. It's a jungle out there. I mean, and they have the other issue is once you get up to the tunnel, it's all flooded, so you got to try to walk your way around to get up close to it, because that's one of the reasons why the Great Western, why that railroad, it went broke, is because that tunnel, they had a lot of issues when they built that line. A lot of issues with drainage. It was one of the few issues that hurt them. So, but yeah, it's a cool spot. You can't walk through it. They have it fenced off, and the other end is dynamited because it's farmers' land on the other end. They don't want people on their land, and anyways, even if it wasn't dynamited, you wouldn't be able to go through it all because some years ago, the middle of the tunnel caved in, so you wouldn't have been able to walk. You'd have to, if you want to get both ends, you'd have to, walk on both sides. So, plus, if you're gonna go check out the tunnel, I recommend not going in the summer. Go like when I did, and when it's everything's hibernated, because they have issues with rattlesnakes out there. So, the best time to do it is in the winter, and try to, probably better when there's no snow on the ground, because like I said, it's they have issues with snakes over there, and if you get bit, I doubt you're gonna make it back, because it's probably not 15-20 minute hike to the back to your vehicle, and then it's probably another 20 minutes to even get to a near hospital. So.
And I was watching a documentary the other day. What was that, on Netflix or? No, I don't know. I'm trying to think what it was, but we were watching something, and the cost of anti-venom is not cheap at all. I think it was like $10,000, I think, or something like that, a dose. Wow. And it depends on the snake and, how the venom is and how strong it is. The thing we were watching, it was like we had to give out 12 doses. So that was $120,000 worth of snake anti-venom to be able to stop that. So that is scary, because I know what you're talking about also, because my brother took me down in Carbondale area, and there's a road called Snake Road, and there's a whole bunch that migrate that way during a certain time of year. We went on a hike and we saw one, and it was really cool, but from a distance. Well, what do you have going on coming up? I said in the intro, as you'll hear, I said I gotta ask him. I know last time I talked with you, you were single. I want to ask you a Valentine's Day question. What is the ideal Valentine's Day date with Peter Moore?
A date, huh? Got me on the spot here.
Like train related, what would you do? What would be something you would do? You're like, you know what? I know she likes trains. I like trains. I'm gonna take her to this spot. There's got to be like a view or a spot you just like, oh, I could kill it. It's just the spot to go.
I'd say Savannah would be one of my. There's so many, or somewhere along the Mississippi River, anywhere along the Mississippi, whether it's Savannah, Dubuque, Prairie du Chien, or even Burlington, Iowa, or even Fort Mad. And the reason is there's just so much good scenery there. I think it can be romantic. You can make anything romantic if you put a lot of thought into it.
Well, there you have it. I had to ask, with it being Valentine's Day month. And then also, what is an ideal gift? What if there's a lady or a man listening out there right there, and you're like, you know what? My significant other is a rail fanner, loves to take pictures, loves to go see trains. What's a gift idea for Valentine's Day for somebody that is into trains?
Ooh, well, that. Actually, I would say go on a romantic train ride. Like maybe take a ride on Amtrak. There you go.
That's one of my some of my favorite memories as a kid with my Nana from England. She didn't drive. She only drove one time in her entire life and decided it wasn't for her. But she always took public transportation. But every time, I'd say a couple times a year in high school, she would get these bus tickets for like church, where it was like a weekend where the bus would take you to the Harvard station, and it would take you on the double decker or whatever you call it into Chicago, And I did that several times with her, and I'm gonna tell you that was some of my fondest memories, riding that cool train and seeing like the people that you have coming on and off, but also just being up on the second level. I think it's fun. You're right. I think that would be a cool little date. Take it somewhere cool, because you could take it so many different places.
I'd say a cool place to go would be go through the Colorado mountains. That would be, yeah, and having just, could you imagine just having dinner, having like a nice candlelight dinner, and then looking to the right, and all you see are mountains by you.
That's also a good honeymoon idea too, for those that are like rail fanners. It's a good idea. Taking it. I've always wanted to take a train ride. To be honest, I was gonna take it from San Diego to Chicago when I got out of the service, and I never did, and I don't know why. Because the cost of the plane was about the same, you know what I mean? And I really wanted to do it to unwind, and I can't remember if there was a reason I had to be back sooner or what, but I never did it. But it is on my bucket list to do that, to go across several states in a train, because I just know it's just probably breathtaking, depending on what way you go. Any way you go, it's going to probably be something just incredible.
Right. Well, yeah, like I said, that'd be cool. Or even crazier, a wedding. I've heard of people getting married on Amtrak before.
Yeah, that's nice. You have to watch out in Chicago. You might get mugged. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so
you could always get on Amtrak closer, especially in this area. Mendota would be closer.
Mendota's a nice little spot too. I want to do a little bit more in Amboy also. I noticed there's a couple nature places, because I'm big on the outdoors in Amboy, and Amboy is another neat little town with that train thing right there. I think that's cute.
Oh yeah, great museum. That's one of my favorite museums that I've been in so far.
Yeah, I gotta go check it. I haven't been in there. The one time we went there was like right in the smack dab middle of the pandemic, and it was shut down or whatever. I can't remember. I think it was just closed. You know what I mean? Because everything was closed. But that's not that far from Rochelle, so I have to put that on our agenda this summer to go over there, because I like trains. It's in my blood too. My dad and my brother love trains. Okay, so my questions, I have a few of them. One of them was, when we last spoke, you had been gifted by somebody really nice, whoever it was, but gifted a Canon camera. And I noticed, because you're friends with me on Facebook, and I see that you're adapting from going from your awesome iPhone to a whole different, method by using the camera. How's that been going?
Oh, really good, actually. I'm still learning and stuff. The only thing I kind of need right now are flashes, because I can't really do much at nighttime right now. I can if there's like great lighting, but flashes would be great, because then I could go anywhere at any time, especially if I hear something really good coming and it's in the middle of the night. I can go photography, it and stuff, but they're not cheap. That's the only thing about having a camera, to get all the things you need. It's not cheap.
And luckily, though, I have noticed, not always, but once in a while, you'll see some decent stuff that comes across on Facebook Marketplace. So, I mean, that is one thing I have to say that we have, that we're lucky nowadays compared to other times, because sometimes we've gotten a couple things off there and sold things on there. But I'll have to keep that in mind, because I know several photographers. So my friend Danny, if you're listening, Greg, my brother, if you're listening, I got several other ones. I have to. Now, what Canon model do you have, for those that were wondering, that maybe might even have some to donate to you? What Canon model do you have? Do you know?
I have an XSI.
XXI, there you go. If you have any extra flashes, you call them, right, for night photography?
Yeah.
All right, comment below, and shoot, I might even give you some type of gift if you can help my guy out. Just comment below. I'd appreciate that very much. And my guy's trying to take some photos. So at least you have your iPhone for that then. So if you're like, well, I'm going to still go out at night, and then I'll just have to use my phone.
I still try and use my camera. Sometimes they turn out, sometimes they don't. And I mainly don't really take photos with my phone anymore. The only thing I do is video, because my camera doesn't take video. So that's another thing on my list, is a video camera. That's next on my list. One of another things on my list. Also, I like to get something, more lenses, something I can zoom in a lot further. I like to get far distance shots, especially sunsets. That would be really nice to get.
I understand that, because we got a camera for like just unboxing things for YouTube, because the kids want to do it more, but I want to take more photos, and I brought the camera to Jack's soccer little soccer league thing just to see what kind of photos came out, and I was like, man, this is not, I gotta get more lenses. It just wasn't adequate enough. So I know exactly what you're saying. And when you're first starting out, you have so many questions, and once you get a rhythm of it, you're gonna nail it. So I'm excited to see what you're gonna do with a camera, because the photos you do with your phone are just incredible already. So we have a long list of things that I was just gonna mention. I did some, because of course I want to try to keep it up with the times as far as what's going on with the rail, just different things. So I got some notes down, so I was gonna read this, and then we're gonna talk about something major that happened about 48 hours to 72 hours ago in Ohio, as most of you guys know, about the derailment. So we're gonna play a clip from that. It's still going on, it's crazy, and I'll play a clip of that in a moment. But first, let's talk. The thing I saw on here, Peter, was Canadian Pacific hit a new record, 2.29 million metric tons of grain. So that's, I guess, a big deal for Canadian Pacific.
Yeah, I actually didn't know that, so you're actually giving me some knowledge.
No, there you go. So I saw that. So they were bragging about that, and we do have Canadian Pacific in this area, don't we? That move quite a bit.
Yeah, not mainly towards like the Mississippi area. I mean, there is a Canadian Pacific line that runs through like Davis Junction, and through that'd be the closest that you would town that you'd probably know. But that line's not very busy right now. It will be, because, you know, with, like I mentioned before in the previous podcast or the podcast before, CP and KCS are supposed to be merging together, and that'll pick up that line. That line will be picking up traffic.
See, now I know a little bit. Now I do remember we were talking about that, because I listened to the podcast a couple of times, and I remember you saying that, and then I got a few things to talk about with that. But go ahead, keep going.
But yeah, that line will pick up. It's still not finalized yet. I'm not sure what else is going on with that. I haven't heard any more updates on that. But yeah, that's pretty much all I know. I know they've been doing test runs. I got a couple of them last year. They were running stack trains, because they don't normally run stack trains and bare tables through Savannah and Davis Junction and Elgin. They don't, on that part of the line, they don't normally run that, but they've been running test trains to get ready for that. But yeah, that's pretty much all that. And they've been upgrading the line with new lights, gates, electric switchers, so that way when they meet somebody, they don't have to get out and handheld the switch. They're trying to make it all electric, so they've just been upgrading the line, and that's pretty much all I have for updates as of right now on that.
Well, a few things I got real quick. I got Canadian Pacific and Kansas City Southern merger. There's like some people causing a little bit of riffraff or problem about it, because I guess possible like gigantic noise pollution supposedly. I guess with those two combining, it's going to be a whole lot of traffic, so people are complaining about that. And then it says new Iowa bill would limit the lengths of trains. I don't know what bill that is, but I guess they're trying to shorten or set a length, I guess, on the trains. The other headline thing I saw that you might be able to help me out with a little bit is the GATX optimistic about 2023 despite macroeconomic uncertainties. But I was going to ask about that because it says railcar manufacturer and lessor GATX sees a strong secondary market and continued demand for rail cars. And I remember seeing that really cool looking GATX over there by the airport.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because railroads like lease those units. So I'm not sure about that one, but I can say something about when you're talking about train shortening. I think that's a good thing because this, I don't know if you ever heard of him. His name's Hunter Harrison. He's gone now. He passed away. He's the one who created it. I don't know if you know what PSR is. It's precision railroading. So they put two trains into one. You probably have seen that at Rochelle before, where they're these really massive coal trains. Well, the problem is with that, they're trying to do that to save money. But the problem with that is, well, two things. One, it's wears and tears on the locomotives. From experience, I have noticed over the years since PSR that a lot of engines have gone down. That's a lot of wear and tear. That's a lot of cars you're hauling. They also, what I was going to say is, they have issues with if trains stop, like especially in Dubuque. They work the daily trains. They'll sit there for especially the daily 338 or 337 train on the Canadian National in Dubuque. Because they have a cam there. That train will be sitting 3-4 hours blocking the crossing. Technically, they're not supposed to, because from what I don't know if it's just Illinois, but I know in Illinois at least, you can't block. You're not supposed to block a crossing no more than 15 minutes. But I don't know if that's, like I said, I know Illinois is that way. I don't know if that's as a whole United States or if that's just an Illinois state law. But that might be an issue why Iowa's trying to shorten the trains, because trains that are working yards, the crossings that are nearby, they're blocking the crossing too long. And when if there's a medical emergency. And two, another thing I wanted to mention, you talked about with the horns and stuff. What they'll end up probably doing is, which I think is a lot of money and costs a lot, is they're going to probably end up doing like they did at Rochelle, where there'll be no horns. So they'll have to upgrade the crossings and upgrade stuff to make it where it's no horns.
Well, I can tell you from us living out there and living next to the train tracks, my woman was not happy with some of them dudes. They would lay on that horn in the middle of the night, like beep, beep, meh, 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 like so many times. And we're talking 2, 3, 4 in the morning, and our baby just fall asleep. She would come out one time. I remember she ran out there with like a whisk or something from the kitchen, just like yelling at them. I'm like, they're not gonna give any two shits about that right now. But still, there was a couple times where I wanted to shake somebody because they would lay on the horn. But then again, there's sometimes people just stand there on the track, so I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know exactly why they lay on the horn sometimes like that, but I feel like, well, at the same time, it's cool for people too. I don't know. It's debatable, I guess, depending on who you are.
Right. And I know everyone has their own opinion about horns. Yes, it's great sounding, but if you take that away, it's still, to me, I think it's still a safety problem, because there's no horns. When if there's a little kid running around, especially at the railroad park in Rochelle, when if there's a little kid, a parent looks away for a second and a little kid goes running, or not just that, just you're walking, sometimes crossings aren't always reliable. You know what I mean? A crossing malfunction, it doesn't go. I've seen it where a train goes by and the crossing never comes down, or the crossing's stuck. Well, if somebody says, oh, the crossing's been stuck for this long, I'm just going to go around it. And, in Rochelle, you can't drive around it, but what if it's just a pedestrian, they walk by and they just get smacked? That's how I feel about it. I feel like it's a safety hazard, and I get it that people, I guess my thing on it has always been, if you don't like the trains and stuff, my suggestion, especially, I get if it's a railroad just gets down the road, but if trains are there, my opinion is you should not live by a railroad if you know there's going to be trains, or stay, it's just like the same thing. Like there's been people in Chicago that have complained, like the O'Hare, complaining about the airplanes. Well, you can't stop the loud airplanes. There's no way of stopping it. Well, you moved by an airport. You know what I mean? Like, what else could you expect? You know what I mean? Not to sound mean or anything like that. That's just my opinion. I know we're all going to have our own opinions on that, but that's just how I feel about it.
No, I agree. And to be honest, we were in a bind because we had 2 pit bull mixes, and it's so hard to try to find a place to rent when you have pit bull mixes. And this landlord, Anita, was just an amazing lady, just a great lady. And their rent was affordable. And I tell you what, I really did enjoy sitting out during the summer or any time and watching different trains go by. I'm mad I didn't start doing train photography page or whatever every single day during the pandemic, because you would just love that house, just being right there. It was so cool. And the pictures I got of the water tower in the background and that factory too at different times with sunsets and the lights on, and I have some really nice photos myself off of my Galaxy. Just, I think trains are so cool. I've been trying to catch one, as dumb as this might sound, in Malta, because I think it'd be neat. I've never had a photo myself of a train coming by like grain bins or anything like that, and I really want to get a photo myself of like the beginning of a train coming around. Is that dumb? I don't know. You've got a few 100.
Yeah, well, quite a bit, because I started taking photos in 2016.
Yeah, just crazy. I'm just gonna run a couple more things I see on here. You don't have to. You can talk about them in a second or not. It says CN will focus on improving velocity and finding customers where capacity is available. Says they'll adjust its operating plan to run faster and potentially shorter trains and concentrate on courting customers where network. It also says UP vows to improve service, craft employees' quality of life in 2023. It says BNSF to spend nearly $4 billion on capital improvements and maintenance. It also says future of Union Pacific program testing one-person crews is uncertain. How many people crews are normally on a train when they have a train?
Normally just 2, unless they're training somebody.
Really?
There used to be a lot more than that. There used to be, was it 4 or 5? This is before my time, because they used to have, right now they just have the conductor and engineer, but they used to have other guys that did other stuff on there. They used to have, I think one was like a medic, and like a fire or something would happen, and they had, like I said, they used to have 4 or 5 guys, but now they're down to 2. They normally just have 2, unless, like I said, if they're training somebody, they'll have 3.
Wow, that's crazy. I didn't know. I never asked that question, so I was curious. Another thing I see on here, it says there's this thing called Rail State. What do you know what that is?
Rail State?
Yeah, it's something it's a data visibility provider is doing something they're trying to come up with. It says, what if rail shippers could not only track the location of their rail cars, but also the train that those rail cars are on and how that train performs on a certain line segment over time? So I don't know. They got something. Some new device they're creating or created, I guess. I don't know. I saw that also. But okay, so what I'm gonna do real quick, guys and gals, is I'm gonna play a clip of what's going on in Ohio. It's just nuts to see some of the things. Peter's gonna do some more research on it. He's been working. But at first, on Friday they were talking about 50 car derailment. And I know it was 150 cars total were, I think, on that train. How many total, I don't know, I guess. But as of Friday, it was 50. So let me go ahead and play what's going on right now, and we'll be right back on the Catchin' Up with Carter, okay?
The threat of an explosion. The train derailed Friday night. The wreckage has been smoldering, as you see there, ever since. Norfolk Southern Railway says no crew members, residents, or first responders have been hurt.
Tonight, emergency crews desperately trying to get control of a potentially deadly situation with a controlled detonation. For 3 days, warning residents the burning wreckage of a freight train could explode, sending shrapnel and toxic fumes a mile in every direction over a rural Ohio community.
It's kind of crazy for a small town like this.
Thousands of residents under a mandatory evacuation order. Police going door to door, threatening families with children with arrest if they don't leave.
Police car came up and said, evacuate, evacuate, evacuate now, get out, get out.
Friday night, as many as 50 of the train's 150 cars derailed en route from Illinois to Pennsylvania. Today, the response focused on 5 cars carrying hundreds of thousands of pounds of vinyl chloride used to make PVC pipes and vehicle upholstery, and also linked to increased risk of cancer, according to the CDC.
This is a matter of life and death. This controlled release will actually take place, and you are in imminent danger.
Officials again warning residents to stay away as they use small explosives to blow holes in the train cars, hoping the hazardous material will seep into ditches where it can be burned safely away.
We want to be able to control that situation. That's the safest way, is to control the situation, and that's with this operation we're going to take this afternoon.
Tonight, railroad officials declaring that operation a success, apparently easing the threat to this community as residents await word that it is safe to go back home.
All right, folks, so there you go. Crazy stuff. It's 50 cars out of 150 they had on Friday. And then you saw what they said there. The police were making them people leave and threatening arrest if they didn't leave the area. And that an explosion could have caused shrapnel for up to a mile away. Scary stuff, guys. And then that stuff that makes PVC pipe, what was that, something chloride? That is one that was on there. So I know they were trying to find a way to slowly release that. Crazy stuff, man. I would really hate to have a derailment, knock on wood, anywhere near Rochelle. You know what I mean? Gosh. Ugh. Scary stuff, Peter. So let's move away from that negative stuff or sad stuff. And what do you got coming up now? What do you got going on that you're going to come and provide awesome pictures of?
Well, one thing I'm actually going to be going tomorrow in the evening, I'm going to get one of the last train runs out of Chrysler, because they're shutting down. So I like to get that. They usually the crew usually gets on duty about 8 o'clock. So I'm going to go get one of the last runs out of there. I'm also going to be going to check out places I've never been to this year. Coming up, I plan on in April, I'm going to go check out more of Milwaukee. Gonna have a couple friends show me around. I've never been, like downtown city shots with the trains going by downtown Milwaukee. Because while I'm out there, I'm gonna go to my first band. I'm gonna go see 3 Days Grace. And what else I got scheduled? I'm going to be going to Mason City, Iowa in June. It's just a new place I've never been. There's a diamond there. Canadian Pacific goes there, and Union Pacific cross there. And also you have the Iowa Northern, which I think I mentioned before, Iowa Northern, some of their tracks are part of the old Chicago Great Western Railroad. Since we're talking about Chicago Great Western, I can talk about more of that another time. But yeah, so I have that planned, and I want to go to Union. I don't know if you've ever been to Union, but they have some new locomotives there that I haven't seen that I want to go see. And from what I was told, they have one of the Land of Corn cars there, and the Land of Corn was I don't know if you ever heard of the Land of Corn, but that was one of the passengers that went through Rockford. They used to call it the Land of Corn. This was before Amtrak. Because back in another little history thing. I don't know if you knew, Amtrak wasn't always around. All the railroads had their own passenger service. Used to, but it was too costly. So like I said, then the, government stepped in, and then years later, Amtrak and Metro came around. But yeah, like I said, railroads used to have their own passenger service. So yeah, it used to be called the Land of Corn. That was the Illinois Central, which is actually my favorite railroad. But yeah, that's pretty much, as of right now, that's all I have planned as of right now. A lot of times I plan as I go. If I hear something good is coming, if I have the time, I go and catch it.
Well, there you have it. Well, this sounds exciting. We're going to definitely do another one. I want to keep doing this. I will, as I told you, so far, I know it's only on YouTube right now, but you are still leading in views for our first one, and your second one has, I think, 160 views, and I know more people will listen to this one as well, and I understand why. You know what you're talking about. You're an interesting fellow, and I love the whole trains thing. I think it's really neat. I learn something new every time. How does somebody follow you again? Just so if anybody new is listening, how does somebody find you on YouTube, and as well, you're back on Instagram too?
Yeah, so yeah, I'm on Instagram, and then as you know, I'm on YouTube, and my YouTube channel name is Train King. You can also follow me on Facebook. I share all my photos and stuff and my YouTube stuff on there, and if you want, you can send me a friend request, and I can invite you to my photography group. I have just over 600 members. It's a private group, but I'm willing to accept other people if they want to share their own photos. I have other people that share their photos, and not all of it's trains. Some people share their sunset stuff, anything Mother Nature, storms, anything photography related, you can share. Like I said, if you're interested, just I can send you the invite, and my photography group is called the Peter Trains Heads Up Photography Group.
There you have it, folks. Peter Moore again giving us the knowledge on trains. Please take care, Peter. And anybody that wants to follow our family, please follow us on Instagram and Facebook as well, Catchin with Carter, and then hit the share button, spread the word. If you have an Airbnb, we do reviews of Airbnbs. We still got to post one. Jordan Panuski, if you're listening, if you could please get that done. I've been waiting forever. But anyway, we're going to put that up, and then if you have a podcast topic, please email me at catchinupwithcarter, catchin no G up with Carter, and please take care.
Thank you for spending an hour of your time with us. Now will you do yourself a favor? Check us out on Catching Up with Carter and Fam Show. Do yourself another favor and follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and Insta. Our dog's also up there, so you'll be doing yourself a third favor. And we'll see you next week. Toodles.